Hi there, and welcome to the Explaining History YouTube channel. I'm going to talk very briefly about the Russian Revolution. For those of you who are studying it, and obviously are aware that we're just in the 100th anniversary year of the Russian Revolution, there are some interesting questions and interesting ways of thinking about the February and October revolutions. One way of thinking about both events is less of them as being revolutions in the standard sense of a an organised body usurping and overthrowing a government, and more of two events where governments just cease to function, and as a result, the power vacuum very quickly being filled, firstly by the provisional government and then by the Bolsheviks thereafter. Firstly, in 1917, in February, the Tsar, after 3 years of war, had lost the reins of power, largely because of the problems created by the war. The strikes and demonstrations that begin in Petrograd in February 1917 are as a result of shortages caused by the war and by the distorting effects that the war has on the economy, particularly Russia's food economy. Without the decision by the army regiments to go over to the side of the people, which would not have been necessarily had the demonstrations not begun, the Tsar would easily have held on to power and seen through that phase of the war. The problem that the Tsar has is that finally, when a challenge to his rule emerges in a quite a unplanned and chaotic and spontaneous way in February 1917, that the organs of the state that serve him cease to function. The government doesn't know what to do. The Prime Minister Rodzianko is messaging the Tsar saying, "Will you please take some action?" The army in Petrograd mutinies, and the army generals in the city are unable to put down the revolt, and army generals outside of the city are unwilling to send fresh troops because they fear that they will mutiny as well. And also, this is a prime opportunity to actually get rid of the Tsar, who is performing so badly in the war. And it's finally when 5 of his front commanders say, "You have no option, sire," essentially they're saying, "We are passing a vote of no confidence," and it's on that he abdicates. The provisional government, always meant to be provisional and temporary, has huge constitutional questions, such as what to do about land ownership, what to do about the war, how to deal with the ongoing problems in Russian society, and what the future Russian state will look like. These are the kinds of things that it feels, quite rightly, that it is not competent, it doesn't have the mandate to deal with. And the question of the war, well, often we come up with this argument that, it was a foolish mistake of Kerensky to stay in the war and he should have left it. But actually, Kerensky has very little choice. Russia is being financially supported by the Western Allies. Russia also, if they leave the war, will have to sign a damaging peace treaty with Germany. And many Russians, despite what we were told on the subject, many Russians actually were happy to carry on fighting. They had sacrificed an immense amount in the war against Germany, and giving up was actually something that they felt loath to do. But it is the pressures of the war, these unanswered economic and social questions, and then constant setback during the war, and the difficulties of finding a compromise with the Petrograd Soviet, that by the end of 1917, by October 1917, mean that the provisional government has virtually no friends or supporters left. It is unable, as the Tsar's government was, is unable to wield power. And there is a quote, I forget who said it, but I'm sure you can Google it, that the Bolsheviks did not so much seize power as find it lying in the street. And in both cases, in February and October 1917, power wasn't so much seized as abandoned. Oh, sorry. Before I go any further, I hope you found that useful. Do subscribe, do give us a like, do give us a comment, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.